Welcome to the North Pennines and the absolutely beautiful village of Allendale, and this is going to be the location for something very, very unusual and out of this world. Welcome to the Museum of Classic Science Fiction, or as it's better known at the minute, a building site. But soon, hopefully with your help, things will change more quickly. Basically, over the last year, I've stripped this entire space out. I've ripped ceilings out, floors up, I've smashed walls down, and I'm restoring what is a Georgian Grade 2 listed building. This is the vault, this is the back room, the second room in the museum. The most difficult to work on because I've had to angle grind out all the actual mortar in between these joints. It's a haunted space, atmospheric, and soon to be the home of several original Doctor Who monsters and costumes. One of the biggest jobs in the museum is getting the props ready for display, and that includes everything from sealing and preserving fragile rubber which would perish otherwise. Sometimes it's repairing a hole, sculpting tiny sections in. Sometimes it involves sculpting a large section of a prop. I've been very lucky in that I've got to know prop makers who've worked on some of these programs, people like Stephen Mansfield and Sumer, who helped me get this little cane model put together, all original, and also did this lovely fella sitting beside me here. And this was a case of getting preservative on to save this wonderful old costume for years and years to come. As part of the History of Classic Doctor Who section in the museum, I'm very pleased to house one of the largest independent surviving collections of original props, costumes and published artwork from the classic era of Doctor Who. Over here, one of my favourite object is a surviving Cryon costume from 1985's Attack of the Cybermen. And this costume was worn by Sarah Green and The Mask by Faith Brown. And what's really exciting is to show her with her adversary, the surviving black Cyberman costume from the same story. The museum itself is going to encompass a history of science fiction, and just one of an item that is going to be part of that is this is the flight chair from Thunderbird 2 from the movie, because one of the key figures that we'll be looking at as well is Gerry Anderson. One of the most important things about this museum is preserving popular cultural artifacts from our shared heritage for generations to come. This is a really good example. This is the only surviving Pterolepta leader mask that was made. It was the first mask in Doctor Who to feature animatronics. I've had to sculpt in a new jaw. The whole top piece that survived is covered in preservative, and I've got the entire body here. And basically, by the time I'm finished, you'll be able to see what the Pterolepta looked like back in the 1980s, and it's also safe for generations to come. No history of science fiction or Doctor Who would be complete without one of these guys in the museum, and these have scared generations of children again and again, and I'm not going to show you any more because you'll have to come here and visit to see the rest of it. Oh, I almost forgot to mention, top Doctor Who artist Andrew Scaletta has provided examples of his work, published artwork, working drawings that will be illustrating further the worlds of classic Doctor Who throughout the museum. So far, I've managed to self-fund all this build, but now I'm after £5,000 to get this museum open for this August. Now, part of your money will be going towards this. I need to cover all these really rare old props and protect them in glass. So part of the money will be going towards that. And then the rest of the money will be being spent in this section here, which, as you can see, still needs a bit of work. The floor itself is listed, and I need to put a bespoke wooden floor on top as well. That's also safe and accessible for wheelchairs, and so everybody has the chance to visit and see these wonderful items. And then finally, I need to make the entrance so all you people can actually come in and experience the museum. And here I am again, this time in another of my roles in the museum. This is me, the artist, and I'm producing one of the limited edition art cards that will act as one of the rewards. There'll also be the originals available as well. And what I'm doing is taking classic seminal science fiction novels and doing visualizations from. This one is from The Time Machine, and my version finally of a Morlock that I've always wanted to draw. When I restored the surviving red pteroleptil costume, parts of the carapace couldn't be put back into the display. I thought it'd be a great idea to take the surviving scales and give you them as a reward in the Kickstarter. Help me preserve important cultural items for years to come and make them accessible for everybody to see. Please pledge to the Museum of Classic Science Fiction and help make this a reality.